Steve Bannon saw it coming. While America fixated on Epstein revelations, something sinister crept through the shadows. Mass amnesty. Not from Democrats, of course, we would expect that. But whispers suggest that even some Republicans are now cutting deals. Charlie Kirk exposed the call for amnesty months ago. Tim Walz echoed it, standard Democrat playbook, but now reports are surfacing that this betrayal might actually be bipartisan. Now remember, we voted for deportation, not capitulation. We demanded enforcement, not amnesty. And of course, they dropped the Epstein bombshell precisely when these backroom negotiations heated up. Was that a distraction? Well, Bannon says no, it's misdirection. Now, a magic trick where they wave scandal in your right hand while signing away sovereignty with the left? Well, the evidence is damning, so keep watching. Don't look away. Now, have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I did recently see a video, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s, and he's still kicking butt, working out, staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger. He can work out longer, even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by making one change, and he says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife started doing it, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. So make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/next. It is linked down below. It'll change the way you think about your health. So what is going on with amnesty? Yeah, people are freaking out. And we have it here. Here it is, the amnesty. Okay, so 8 hours ago, Stephen Chung posted, "Trust in Trump. No amnesty." There's the post. Here is President Trump responding at the cabinet meeting earlier today.
Strategic way.
There's no amnesty. What we're doing is we're getting rid of criminals, but we are doing a work program. Do you want to explain that, please?
Yeah, this morning we talked about, of course, this was a top of mind question. This morning we talked about protecting the farmers and the farmland, but obviously this president's vision of no amnesty, mass deportation continues, but in a strategic way, and then ensuring that our farmers have the labor that they need. Secretary Chavez-Durimer has been a leader on this. Obviously, this comes out of the Labor Department, but moving toward automation, ensuring that our farmers have that workforce, and moving toward an American workforce. So all of the above.
We want to give the farmers the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty. There's no amnesty.
We are not talking amnesty. So I want to get to the clip here. 16 hours ago, Bannon sounded the alarm. They dropped the Epstein news as a misdirection while the world's eyes turned to the Epstein revelations. The real agenda crept in the shadows. Mass amnesty for illegal immigrants, a backroom deal they hope MAGA wouldn't notice.
It's Monday, 7 July, Year of the Lord 2025. You heard Charlie Kirk today on fire on his show on Real America's Voice and across the nation on radio, and he's got his podcast, all of it. Part of that's in response to, there's word out that how possibly did they do the Epstein announcement last night. And there is word out behind the scenes that, oh, it was a misdirection play to get everybody to bounce as they try to force President Trump to do some mass amnesty. But guess what? MAGA can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's a lot of activity going on with the Epstein situation, exactly finding out exactly what's going on. Tom Fitton's on it. All these different groups are on it. And I think you'll see developments on that, hopefully in the next couple.
Now I want to find the Charlie Kirk. Here it is. Okay, this is Charlie Kirk sounding the alarm, reporting that Trump mass amnesty is about to occur for millions. Was the Epstein news dropped to distract us from this? There's always something else dropping. We did not vote for amnesty. We voted for mass deportation. Now, Charlie talks about the people who called him to warn him about the Republicans in the back rooms of Washington, D.C., trying to push for mass amnesty. This is not what we want.
On July 3rd, as I am doing this broadcast, and this is bigger than anything with Epstein, this is bigger than anything with tax cuts. It is happening right now in Washington, D.C. And I can say this from firsthand experience, that people are pushing President Trump for amnesty. They are pushing him for mass legalization of illegals. President Donald Trump, of course, would never push for amnesty. But President Donald Trump said something at a rally on July 3rd, and my phone lit up like you wouldn't imagine. President Donald Trump was talking about potentially doing a bipartisan compromise deal for illegals that have stolen Social Security numbers, that are illegally domiciling themselves here in the country, that are all felons. Every single one of them are felons. They're just not yet indicted felons. But if they're here illegally, you're a felon. It's against federal law. We've gone through all the different federal laws that you break by being here. And this is President Donald Trump speaking at the Iowa rally saying that we might need to do some form, he didn't use the word amnesty, but some form of soft amnesty. And I could tell you now through other reporting that I've been able to do and phone calls, there is a major push right now to do a bipartisan amnesty deal, a major push. People are trying to push the president. Hey, you got the money for ICE. Now we need to go move to the middle on immigration. Play cut 258.
People have worked for a farm on a farm for 14, 15 years, and they get thrown out pretty viciously, and we can't do it. We got to work with the farmers and people that have hotels and leisure properties too. We're going to work with them, and we're going to work very strong and smart, and we're going to put you in charge. We're going to make you responsible. And I think that that's going to make a lot of people happy. Now, serious radical right people, who I also happen to like a lot, they may not be quite as happy, but they'll understand, won't they? Do you think they'll understand that? You're the one that brought this whole situation up. Brooke Rollins brought it up, and she said, so we have a little problem. The farmers are losing a lot of people. And we figured it out, and we have some great stuff being written, and let the farmers be responsible.
Let the farmers be responsible. Look, I trust President Trump's instincts 100% here, but there is a group of people that are pushing President Trump very hard to stop the deportation effort and to try to have some sort of a come to the table moment of a bipartisan compromise. That we need to try to figure out how to make these people have a pathway to citizenship.
How dare you?
Now, this is not by any means a knock on President Trump. It is a knock on people that are trying to pressure President Trump and pressure him hard. We don't know any of the details, but President Trump did say that the radical right people that he has a soft spot for wouldn't like this. Hello, hi, I'm one of those radical right people. And I want to know what I'm not going to like. Because of all the different stuff that's in front of us, if you want to break our coalition, go and push amnesty. That right there would be a complete collapse of everything that we have worked for. Everything. So we don't know any details, but it looks as if President Trump might be in preliminary discussions. And I could tell you that there are many different discussions that I've had with people, and they are pushing it hard to create some kind of amnesty proposal aimed specifically at farm laborers in the United States. But it's more than that.
You heard what President Trump said. Now, if you remember what Pelosi said, who's going to pick our corn? Who's going to pick our crops? So you got these ICE raids going on across the country. And you do have a very large illegal population that are going and doing that labor. And the farmers are going, man, we're going to lose all of our labor. I mean, come on. How much are they paying these guys? It's practically slave labor. Cash under the table. And if you heard also, President Trump slipped in that hospitality and leisure. He's talking about the people who are in, housekeeping, restaurants. I mean, there's a lot of restaurants that are getting raided. And it's hurting these businesses. Well, they shouldn't have hired these people to begin with. So clearly there is a move, a lot of pressure being put on Trump from those sectors. And as you heard, the first clip I played, Trump was asked about it, clearly in response to the word Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, and others are saying. They're sounding the alarm. Kirk's calling it soft amnesty. Stephen Chung says there is no amnesty. They're not going to call it. What do they call it? Are you going to give these people temporary work permits? How is that going to work if they're illegal? I mean, we want, if you are illegal in this country, come back and do it the right way. So clearly there is a direct pressure campaign on President Trump from these sectors to keep these people working. And Charlie Kirk's getting the inside scoop, and he's spilling the beans.
It could be hotels. It could be leisure properties. We've heard the arguments about this for years. Well, the crops are going to rot in the fields. There'll be starvation. But here's the...
You said people are going to die?
This is... I haven't even seen this clip yet. And this is exactly what I'm saying.
Main thing that you need to know. We've tried this before. This is not some sort of new thing. And by the way, just so we are clear, I went to an event this last weekend in San Diego. JD Vance was there. And another person came up and said, Charlie, do you know what we need? We need to have some sort of pathway citizenship for 25 people. I said, are you guys on all some sort of group chat or something?
How dare you?
Are you guys all just coordinating? We have not even 48 hours of the largest investment in border security, deportation, and ICE. And why are you pitching me on mass amnesty? Like, what is that all about? There's a lot of reasons for this, and one of which is the corporate class is deathly afraid that they might actually have to hire Americans and pay a higher wage.
I just said that.
Somehow other countries are able to grow food without imported serf labor. How are they able to do that? I don't know. Apparently, we have built so many parts of our economy to be reliant on foreign criminal invaders that have come into this country. And some people, we have to allow farmers to transition. No, you deport them back to their country of origin. All of them. We did not run on mass amnesty. We ran on mass deportations. As I am...
Wow. Here is Jack Posobiec. MAGA is always ready to fight. No amnesty.
Fighters. So if we...
This is not an easy time for MAGA to get their heads around the consistent theme here.
Oh, Piers, what are you talking about? I love a fight. I'm always ready for a fight. And MAGA is always made a fight. So if we got to fight, if we're coming. And by the way, Charlie Kirk is out there today saying that there's a huge push for amnesty of these, the farm workers. And this was something that was mentioned at the rally over the weekend in Iowa, or I guess just before the weekend in Iowa. And so, look, if there's going to be a fight, then we're more than ready for a fight. And I know that I certainly am. And I'm not going
But don't
anywhere.
you have to know what you're really fighting for?
I'm fighting for the country. I'm fighting for America first.
No, I get that. But are you fighting for deportations
Yes.
of every illegal immigrant in the United States, if that means
Yes.
that farms close all over the United States, for example?
Yes, it is 100% across the board. When we were at the RNC in Milwaukee, we had mass deportations now signs. And by the way, that doesn't necessarily mean that they all need to be arrested. And I know that people have been crunching the numbers and saying, if you do this many arrests a day and that many. I think that self-deportations are something that really need to be worked on. I think the remittance tax that went through in the big, beautiful bill should have been higher. 1% is too low in my estimation. I think that should be 5%, 10%, or even 50%, because in some of these cases, that's exactly what's going on, is that they're here for economic reasons in the United States. And so if you put that...
But doesn't the United States economy need a lot of them? I mean, isn't this the whole point about the farmer debate, is that actually farmers have gone to Trump in big numbers and said, if you deport every illegal, undocumented worker in the country, we're out of business.
Well, look, there can be a way for this to be done in a phased manner where they can get people in, and over time, it's not like it has to be, we're going to snap our fingers overnight and they're going to be gone, but absolutely, over time, 100%.
This is not an easy...
Let's go back to what the president said in the meeting today.
Question. This morning
There's no amnesty. What we're doing is we're getting rid of criminals, but we are doing a work program. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, this morning we talked about, of course, this was a top of mind question. This morning we talked about protecting the farmers and the farmland, but obviously this president's vision of no amnesty, mass deportation continues, but in a strategic way, and then ensuring that our farmers have the labor that they need. Secretary Chavez-Durimer has been a leader on this. Obviously this comes out of the Labor Department, but moving toward automation, ensuring that our farmers have that workforce, and moving toward an American workforce. So all of the above.
Farmers, the people they need, but we're not talking amnesty. There's no.
Yeah, they're not going to call it amnesty. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So here's why it matters, because amnesty is forever. Once you legalize millions of illegals, there's no going back, no deportation, no sovereignty, just permanent transformation of America into something unrecognizable. So we've seen this movie before. Reagan's 1986 amnesty promised border security that never came. Now they want to run the same scam, using Epstein headlines as cover while they betray MAGA, everything that we voted for. So think about it. Cheap labor for corporations, permanent Democrat voters, and the complete erosion of American identity. All wrapped in a comprehensive immigration reform lie. And of course, Bannon is right. The timing is no accident. Drop a scandal, push through amnesty, hope nobody notices until it's too late. But we're watching, we're awake, and we won't accept betrayal from either party. So here is the question. Would you support primarying any Republican who votes for soft amnesty? Yes or no? Make sure you grab your American badass gear from our shop, or Alligator Alcatraz, or President Autopen, MAGA Avengers. Trigger a liberal at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and show them where you stand.